Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are on Hades Bonds and our players today are TheRxyy, who we saw actually win against Barcast recently, going up in the OS ranks now at an OS of 37, playing as Cortex today in red, and his opponent, someone fairly new in the OS rankings, unless they've recently changed their name. OS of 50. It's very, very high. And I have no idea how to pronounce that name. NltsuA. So I will just call them NLT. That's going to be so much easier. And they are playing Armada today. And are going the bot lab. Now, as we zoom on out, instantly we're seeing a difference in start position a little bit here. The map is kind of done like this, so you can see how it's a bit of a weird mirroring actually. It's like a flipped mirror. Someone said it was like rotational mirroring or something like that, but regardless, the spot that Rexie is in, NLT's version of that spot would be around about here. So, oh, maybe there, sorry. So, NLT's start choice here is going to make it a lot easier for them to access the top mex points. There's some very high value metal points in that upper corner. Up here we can see 1.9s, 1.9s, 1.8s. And it will give them better access towards this kind of northern quadrant of the map, which is a lot closer to Rexie's base. However, Rexie's base being kind of more to the left, he should in theory be able to cut off NLT pretty easily here. And that's going to give, in theory, the Rexie more control over the map. Oh, and Rexie there losing a metal extractor to the early tick harass. And potentially about to lose a second one. Yep, 2 metal extractors lost. It's not that big a deal because there is already the metal extractors are being rebuilt straight away, but there's a severe lack of metal right now because of that. Vehicles here obviously cost a lot more metal to build than bots, so this is going to put Rexie behind a little bit. At least he was lucky enough to have the build power to hand nearby. Rexie also actually going north with his commander. He doesn't know where NLT's base is, so this kind of is surprisingly advantageous to him, because he's going to be pushing his commander down here towards NLT's base, which will work out in Rexie's favor. However, if Rexie can contest, I'm in line drawing, can control like this of the map, it will be a lot more advantageous for Rexie here. And these metal points on here are actually quite hard to get rid of once you're up there. But Rexie with vehicles getting up on those ridge lines is going to be somewhat difficult for him. As we select the insides here and press F2, you can see it does work, but as soon as he gets a higher tier of unit, it's going to be a lot more harder for that to take place. Rexie is investing a lot into LLTs as he's moving around here. You got to remember, especially if you're new to bar here, that the LLTs do require line of sight. And even more harass now coming in. The self-destruct does manage to take out the 2 ticks there, but this one incisor getting surrounded will not be enough to defend. And such a huge base harass here. All 3 metal extractors destroyed. Energy completely shut down right now. And this is not going good for Rexie, getting pretty much destroyed out the gate. If it wasn't for his commander expanding to these other spots right now, he would be in dire straits. Rexie trying to take back some initiative now, though. He's got a scout in the bottom right, managing to take out one metal extractor. But also with these incisors right now, he's trying to push in, get some of his own damage done here. Incisors do trade pretty well. As you can see there, 4 pawns destroyed for no losses. Another bit of harass there, manages to get the metal extractor again. But NltsuA's commander is in a favorable position here to defend. And the incisors doing actually a decent job at dealing with the pawns that were defending. Incisors outranging the pawns as well. And now NltsuA with no units left to survive, to defend. Making it open season on the metal extractors of NltsuA. NltsuA also massively energy stalling right now. And now this incisors are going to be split off and slowly just do damage to all the metal extractors around. And initiative is definitely switched over here to the Rexie. NltsuA really struggling for energy at the moment. And more incisors keep barreling in. Doesn't actually have any engineers currently building more energy, even with him struggling so much for energy, which is surprising. Huge amount of economy damage. NltsuA massively overflowing on meta. How much have we got excess so far? Almost a K of metal excess. And what is going on? He's really struggling. NltsuA finally using some of that metal to build some solars. Only a single solar though, it seems. Pushing out pawns, desperately needing units right now to try and defend, but just individual incisors going around are basically taking out these metal points. Now this is the issue with expanding and not defending your exploitation. So because of all of these single metal points that were around here, they had no defenses whatsoever, and they've just been completely annihilated. And it's going to take time now for NltsuA to rebuild. And the places that did have defenses have actually not had their LLTs killed yet, like down here, for example. More LLTs going up. Incisors do go fairly favorably into laser towers, but it's still like, more damage that you can dish out, and it's going to make him think twice and make him try and go in a different direction. We're also seeing a very difference in methodology here with, you see NltsuA using his commander purely for the build power aspect of it. Especially for him right now, that makes a huge amount of sense with the amount of metal that they have banked currently. Meanwhile, Rexie here, you can see him using his commander technically for build power, but not in the base. He's just slowly going forward with his commander. He's managed to get so much expansion. He's only now, though, moving out and getting the expansion mexes. And he also still has 500 metal sat in his base that he is not using. Yes, yeah, the construction turrets will slowly eat away at it. But Rexie had an opportunity here with all that harass he was doing. He could have sent a couple of construction vehicles sooner to get some more of this metal. Unfortunately, he was kind of preoccupied with microing, which, a lot of people struggle with. I am definitely one of those people that get so preoccupied with microing your units that just completely forget to look back and actually start doing stuff. And that is something that it seems Rexie also struggles with a little bit. NLT now moving out and using his commander for expanding, but NLT being very heavy on the laser towers along this line now along the front. Does seem like NLT's quite happy to cede the rest of the map to Rexie right now. The Centurions, although massively slower than incisors,
game started.
They will do a fairly decent job against incisors. They just have to be, you know, able to be in range of them. So, very, very quick recap here. Early harass from NLT was tremendous, but losing so many units, they weren't able to deal with Rexie's comeback, and now Rexie is in a very strong position. Rexie as well, as you can see, queuing up a large amount of tidals in the middle pond here. That's a very good use. Tidal on this map is 15, which is better than the wind. However, the only units you can really get to build them are the amphibious construction vehicles and the commander. Now, this is going to put Rexie's commander in relative safety. Being in the pond, there's not going to be much that can hit him, but he's also not going to be able to do much to assist. Bit of a push in from the top here as we zoom on into that. You can see here that with 2 laser towers, actually trying to make a push through. He does manage to actually get past, but with so many units nearby ready to go, it will be interesting to see how much damage he's actually able to inflict here. And this is also going to be where the micro matters. There's a lot of Rex laying around as well still for NLT to take up. He is a bot player after all. This is free resurrections or easier reclaim. And this force in the top right now been left alone. Rexie's attention is probably elsewhere. Yep, now starting to control them. And you can just see this is the kind of distance that the players actually play as. Also, Rexie is one of those weird players that has a completely flat top-down view. Disgusting. Disgusting. Each to their own. I feel like you lose the scale of the cliffs and stuff like that if you're so top down, but you know, everyone has their preferences. And the left flank manages to get tidied up of the Rexie, but all that laser tower manages to get built just in time. But meanwhile, in the middle, the Centurions were a good call at the beginning, but unfortunately now with full brutes coming out, NLT's commander is in a very, very precarious spot. And meanwhile, the base is getting annihilated by these incisor push past and the brutes. And NLT just really struggling right now. It's getting destroyed on every direction right now. I wonder if these players know their commanders are that close to each other. NLT should know. And this is the problem. NLT's commander was out of position, and now he is nowhere near the base, able to be able to degun any of this coming through. And it's just running straight past where his commander is. Priority here is get those res bots, get those units back on the field as quick as possible. NLT desperately needs units on the field here to contest and help defend his base. Now, the problem for Rexie here is he is chucking a lot of metal right next to NLT's base. So far, we've got over 2,000 metal directly next to the base here, and that's enough metal to go tech 2. He would not have the energy to do that, but actually he would. He's got 3 advanced solars. Question is, would he be able to survive long enough to do that transition? It's a bit of a tough one. Massive, massive wall of laser towers going up by NLT's commander. Thing is, all these LLTs, all it requires is you know, 1 artillery, and that's going to slowly chip away. And Rexie ended up leaving 3K of metal on NLT's doorstep. NLT trying to take some initiative back here and pushing on that top side with basically all of his army, which is a mishmash of resurrected tanks, centurions, and pawns, which do manage to get a construction vehicle out of it, as well as some energy damage here. Pawns will turn around as they reach those LLTs. This is a fairly amount of damage, though. This is quite a lot of energy to be losing. $120 energy per second gone. As well as a new flank kind of opened up. Rexie's, to be fair though, in the time that they were built, Rexie has built this many titles. So yeah, I don't think he's really bothered about them. Still only pushing in to vehicles. No transition over to Tech 2 from either player right now. Look at the stats though. Kind of need to ignore metal a second because of Reclaim. Although Rexie doesn't seem to be getting much in the way of Reclaim at the moment. Metal produced, Rexie is about 10k ahead in energy. Metal, sorry. That is a huge amount of metal difference. Energy wise, Rexie is currently ahead by 22%. 84k difference in energy. Army value though, fairly close now. Only a 1k difference in army value. And the more that NLT is able to resurrect units, the closer that gap is going to be. And the problem with making a hole is that the hole is then noticed by Rexie. And NLT, again, with substantial energy problems, unable to have any energy to really effectively fire that LLT. And now no units available to really help defend this push along the top. Rexie does look like he's going to fall back instead, though. Meanwhile, some good harass in the middle, but you notice the halos on all of these units. Most of these units have been resurrected. All of the tanks. And a couple of these Rocketeers and so on. There's a good group of forces from Rexie down the bottom, though. Rexie doing a great job at trying to contest multiple locations. Not just piling it in on one spot here. Forcing NLT to have to micromanage multiple flanks, and then little guys like this, little incisors, managing to get in and just cause problems, keeping that eco of NLT down. NLT been desperately struggling to try and actually use the economy that he has. So we select NLT again. Look at this massive amount of metal just sat waiting, not being used currently. The transition over to air looks like it may be coming from NLT, probably just to build fighters to counter the shurikens. And we do see that Rexie is slowly expanding to the bottom section. But it's going to be hard for these little raids now of NLT to get very far with the shurikens now up and about. Shurikens can be killed very, very quickly, especially if Rexie builds no form of fighters and only builds shurikens. Yeah, a couple of fighters are going to take that in no time. Army value now very much closing in. 3% difference, and that number is getting closer and closer as time goes on. Rexie taking this opportunity now, though, to transition to Tech 2. They are very much ahead when it comes to the eco game. Oh, big mistake though from NLT, and a misplacement of their commander absolutely throws the game. What a mistake, and this just proves that your commander is your king.
battle.
You've got to
ended.
be careful. And surprisingly, NLT winning all the awards, even though it was very much Rexie's game. Rexie did a great job at harassing, and he's definitely one to watch. Maybe potential rising star coming out, beating multiple 50 OSs now. So keep an eye on them. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.